I see dead people.
Welcome to Blondes and Booze. You are about to embark on a journey, one that often leads to more questions than answers. But fear not, your host, Krista, Aaron, and Brandi have the experience, the perseverance, and yes, even the gifts to pull back the veil and allow us to glimpse the other side. They will share not only their experiences, but will introduce you to world-renowned researchers and experiencers to help you find answers in the murky waters of what we call the paranormal. Their bonds with each other reach far beyond friendship, resulting in a pull-no-punches approach to the many subjects they explore. Their goal? To open eyes, hearts, and even minds to what lies on the other side, and the answers residing there.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, good afternoon.
Thanks for tuning in on a Sunday afternoon. We just thought, well, heck, I have nothing going on. Brandi didn't have nothing going on. So we thought, well, let's just do this. So it's kind of impromptu, and we appreciate everybody tuning in and spending their Sunday afternoon with us. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was out grocery shopping with my mom, and you know that takes time. So when she called me this morning, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do about 2:00. I should be done.
And you made it. You made it.
15 minutes to spare. Here I am.
I've been cleaning house and doing that kind of good stuff. So I haven't had nothing major going on. So
right.
I have no kids at home and everybody's gone. So I'm like, why not? Let's do it.
Exactly. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yep. So hi, everybody. Hi, Mopar. Hi, Scott. Crystal J. Bone Nut. Jean Hudson. Thank you, Jean. We definitely appreciate your prayers. Absolutely. Hey, Gary. And everybody else that's on that we can't see the names. So anyway, we just thought that we would just chime in and talk about whatever. But however, I've been doing some research on the Mandela effect.
I mean, we were discussing it before we came on, here. And it's not, no, I don't remember these things being like that. Krista's like, well, yeah, what do you remember about this? And I'm like, no, that's not how it was.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like my whole childhood has been one big lie now.
It's like, seriously, dang it.
Yeah. Do you want to go over some of these and see what everybody else thinks too? How they remember things?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, let's go through the lineup first, and we'll take care of that business and get that out of the way so we can move on. On Monday night at 6:30 p.m., we have Texas Front Porch. That's with me and Tex, and you never know what you're going to get there. I'm actually the Forrest Gump, and he's my Lieutenant Dan. On Tuesday at 7 p.m., you can catch Band, Beer, and Variety. At 8 p.m., you can catch Beyond BMR. Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central, you can catch Jason McLean's Questions Everything. Thursday at 12 p.m., of course, Bigfoot Michigan Rob with our best friend over here, Krista. She's on at 12 p.m. Central. At 8 p.m. Central, you can catch us at Blondes and Booze. On Friday at 8 p.m. Central, you catch Blondes, Booze, and the Woo. And starting on April 1st, Saturday, or I think every Saturday afternoon, you can watch the new episode of Infamous Minds by Tex and Danielle.
Yep, absolutely. There's one more thing too that I want to throw out there. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because tickets went on sale yesterday for it, and I don't know it on here for this here for our Malvern Manor event. We are doing July 8th, Malvern Manor. Josh Hurd, Tex, is going to be there, and so is our friend Terry Mosby. And we're going to do a public overnight investigation at Malvern. So it'd be a lot of fun. You can find tickets on Eventbrite, and they are actually on sale right now. So go over there and check that out if you think you'd like to come.
Oh, well, come on anyway. We can do anything from paranormal to UFO to cryptid watching. Who knows? We've got all the people there.
Yeah,
We've got all the people there.
Seriously, we will have a wide genre of people there. So it doesn't matter what you're interested in. Come on and talk to these people.
Exactly. You never know. We may be sitting outside instead of inside looking for some lights.
That's true. Very, very true. You just never know about us. Seriously. Hey, Nighthawk, how are you? It's good to see
you. Pull up his comment there.
He says, what does he say? You can have me on and I'll call it Blondes, Booze, and the Woohoos. You know what, Nighthawk, if you want to hop on with us, you're more than welcome to. I'd be glad to send you a link.
You want to talk about our childhood being messed up? Come on.
Yep. So let me know if you want to. I will send you a link. Jean says we're kind of talk about the Mandela effect.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I remember Kennedy when he was killed. He was in a 2-seat convertible, and Jackie climbed over the trunk to the Secret Service guy. Now it is a 3-seater, and the Secret Service is in the 3rd seat. Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes. So that's another weird one.
Yeah, I know. It's just so many of these things that we remember when we were younger, and it's like they're not like that. They've never been like that. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember that.
Yeah, I know. It's like everything that I thought is not what I thought.
Well, just like what Jean just said. I distinctly remember it was a 2-seater convertible and she climbed over the trunk.
Right.
I don't remember her climbing into a 3rd seat and then over the trunk, but she did go over the trunk.
Yeah. I remember that too.
Because to me, if your husband was just shot, climbing into the 3rd seat and over the trunk is not the fastest way out of the car.
Good point. Yeah, it's
I wouldn't have gone that way. That's the long way out.
Yeah. Here's what Crystal J says. She says, I'm still wondering about the safety mirrors on cars when they said objects may be closer than they appear, but they don't say that. They used to say that.
Yes, they did.
I do remember that.
Matter of fact, I think I still have a vehicle that has that on there.
Do you?
I think so, yeah. I'll have to go look, but I think it does.
I don't think mine does. I don't think none of my cars. Maybe my truck might, because it's an older truck. I don't know. I'll have to go look at that. Definitely look at that.
Well, now we're going to check it after the show.
I know, right? Okay, so Brandi, how do you remember Oscar Mayer being spelled?
Meyer.
Me too, but apparently it is now spelled Mayer, and it's always been that way. They say that.
See, because I know the song, and I'd always sing it like Meyer.
I guess that song is a lie from our childhood. I don't know.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
They shouldn't do that to us. I mean, does anybody else remember it being different?
Yeah, let us know in chat if anybody else remembers. Hey, Al, how are you?
Hi, Al.
If anybody else remembers any of these things, like, let us know in chat, because this has really got me puzzled. Yeah. See, Nighthawk says Jiffy and Jif, and that was one of them.
I remember Jiffy peanut butter. I remember Jiffy, and it's Jif.
And it's Jif. Yeah, and like Mopar Bill says, we spelled out Meyer. Apparently we didn't.
We were saying it wrong as children. What?
Right. I know.
That ain't right.
I know. It's like our whole...
He says it too. See, that's why this Mandela effect is just, it's crazy, and it's just popping up more and more.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so what about Kit Kat? Do you remember it having a hyphen?
See, now I think I said I don't remember it having a hyphen.
See, I
But then
do. I
again,
always
I've
thought,
been looking at it. I don't
yeah,
remember if it's from now that I'm remembering it or from then.
yeah. And you know what? Danny Stanton says here too, and that's one of them too that blows me away. I remember Looney Tunes, and now it's Looney Tunes, Tunes. Like music really makes no sense. True story. That's how I remember it too, the same way, Danny.
I mean,
Yeah,
you would think that they would spell it TOO only because of it's a cartoon.
right, right. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, tunes as in music does not make sense.
No, it doesn't. And then Scott here says Mandela died in jail, and the Chinese guy got run over by the tank. I read about that today, and that's very
Yeah.
true. Yes,
Yeah.
and so I remember, and they said it was 1986 where Mandela died in jail in 1986. And I actually remember having a conversation with my grandma about this. Apparently, he died in 2013. Who knew?
It's like, were they reporting false news, or is this like maybe something that they had put out to hide something, or
I have no idea. I just think that is the weirdest thing.
that's
What,
crazy. I don't understand all
so
that.
I don't either. I don't either. Here's another good one. Cheez-Its. Do you remember Cheez-Its, ITZ, or just Cheez-It, IT?
Mine was ITZ. I remember
Mine too.
ITZ.
Me too. But apparently it's just Cheez-It, IT.
It.
That's what they say.
Well, there's more than one. I'm like, there's more than one. There should be at least an S or a Z.
You would think, but apparently not. Apparently we're in the wrong. Like I said, my whole childhood is ruined over this after reading all of this stuff today. Because I couldn't believe.
Well, Gene says, just like we were talking about, Gene says they say this must be time travel.
Yeah, true story.
I just said that right before.
Yeah, we were talking about the butterfly effect.
But yeah.
Yep, which will be another topic for another show, impromptu.
Yeah, that one's a big one. That one's huge.
Yeah. So Pyromedic says, and I believe he's talking about Nelson Mandela. I remember him getting pneumonia and almost dying, and they let him out, not wanting to make him a martyr.
A martyr. Well, that makes sense.
Yep, it does. So yeah. What about
a lot of people are saying Mopar Bill says he has the box that says Cheez-It.
Yeah.
Scott says it's with a Z.
Me too. I have the Z.
Yeah. See? Yeah. What are they doing to us? Are they just trying to make this older generation think we're nuts?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Nighthawk, I don't know if you heard me before, but if you want to hop on with us, I will send you a link. If you want to hop on and talk this weird stuff with us, you're more than welcome to. Another one, double stuff Oreos. How do you remember double stuff Oreos being spelled? The stuff. 2 F's?
Well, to me, it was stuffed. It was 2 F's.
Yeah, well, right. Me too. But apparently it's not.
What do you mean it's not?
Seriously. It's what I'm reading. I thought it was 2 F's as well. Yeah.
Something wrong with that. There is something definitely wrong with that, because that's not even how you spell it.
Yeah. No, right?
It should be 2.
What about C3PO on Star Wars? Was he always gold, or did he have a gold or a silver leg?
He was always gold.
I thought he was always gold too, but apparently he's always had a silver leg from the knee down.
Now, was that when? Okay, see, now wait. Okay, so you got to remember that when Luke Skywalker got him, and he had to repair him. So I'm wondering if that's when he put, because they have those movies out where it was before this even began, when he was a younger robot, and he did have 2 gold legs. So maybe I'm getting that messed up, but I've never noticed at any time he had a silver leg.
Me either, but apparently he has always had a silver leg. I know, right?
You can't mess with my Star Wars. You can't mess with my Star Wars because I get upset because I am a Baby Yoda fan. We can't do that.
Well,
I've
here's
always been
another
a
one
Yoda
for
fan,
you.
though. I
And
mean,
this one to see it spelled like this, don't even look right to me. Flintstones. How do you remember the spelling of the Flintstones?
Flint and then Stones, Flintstones, Stones.
So you remember two T's?
Yes, the Flint and then ST, like, and then Stones. Like,
See, I don't. I remember Flintstones. That's how I remember it with one T. I don't remember it with two T's.
huh. Well,
Write it
see,
down.
you're crazy.
You got a pen? Do you got a pen by
Yeah,
the right?
yeah, I'm going to
Flintstones
write it down.
both ways and tell me which way it looks right to you. Because I sure don't remember there being two T's in Flintstones.
I'm looking right now. Yeah, so here we are writing stuff down.
Right. I had to look at this, and I don't know if you're able to see this here.
Oh,
on
I
my
get
phone.
it. Well, yeah.
See, look at that.
Okay.
Look.
And
Look. Do you see that? Can you see that?
yeah, turn your phone just a hair towards the camera a little bit more. Other way. There you go.
See? I don't remember two T's.
Well, shoot, I don't remember now that I see it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, like Flynn Stones. Flynn, like Flin, and then Stones, not Flint. Flintstones.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. So I don't know. It's just that is crazy to me.
But there's two
Here's
T's.
a good one. Here is a good one. Do you remember the Publishers Clearinghouse? They used to give away all that money. Do you remember Ed McMahon giving away those big checks? He would knock on people's doors and give away the big checks.
Yes.
Apparently, Ed McMahon never did that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did he have somebody else go do that?
Well, apparently it was not Ed McMahon because it says that he actually worked for American Family Publishers, not Publishers Clearinghouse, and he never handed not one person a check. I specifically remember when I was a kid watching Ed McMahon show up to someone's house with a big check.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Apparently Ed McMahon never did that.
Because we even still say that today. Well, Ed McMahon didn't deliver my $1 million check.
No, well, no, he really
We
didn't.
still say
either.
it today.
Nope. Apparently he never did that.
Now I know why he's not shown up. Dang it.
I know. That's what I mean. Yeah. I know, right?
That's crazy. I could swear he gave somebody a check somewhere. That's
me too.
Why, like I said, that's why. Oh my gosh, that is so weird.
I told you after this show, your whole childhood will be messed up.
I'm gonna have to drink some Pepsi on that. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to drink some Pepsi on that because that's
Yeah. Okay. Here's another one for you. Do you remember Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump saying life is like a box of chocolates?
Yes.
Well, no, he didn't say that. He says life was like a box of chocolates. I don't remember that.
No, because he said his life is like a box of chocolates.
Apparently
now
not.
I'm going to watch the whole dang movie again, like I haven't seen it 100 times.
Right? I know.
Where's my Lieutenant Dan? I need my Lieutenant Dan because we need to discuss it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Here's another good one. Mirror, mirror on the wall from Snow White. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's how I remember her saying that.
Yeah. She said, mirror, mirror on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Right. But apparently she didn't. She says, and has always said, magic mirror on the wall. Yeah, I know. I'm
Now,
telling you.
is that in the remastered version or the original? I want to know.
I
Now I'm going to
don't
watch
know.
that again.
Crystal J, I'm right with you. My whole childhood was lied to after doing some research into this. Yeah.
I can't even think about. Yeah. Oh man. Now
Yeah.
Ed
And this is
McBain,
one,
Forrest Gump. I'm really screwed up here.
right. Well, and Pam Smith, Brandy and I were just talking about this one back before the show started. She says, "Don't forget the song 'We Are the Champions.' It don't say we are the champions of the world at the end. It doesn't. It's supposedly. I remember it saying that of the world, but apparently it don't. I know." Right? I
Somebody's
can
in
see it
trouble.
in my head. I'm seeing it in my
Somebody's in
head.
trouble because I'm singing it in my head, going, "Yeah, that's what it said."
Right. Right.
Because it goes into the very next song. If you listen to it on the soundtrack, it says "of the world" is what I thought. Okay, "of the world," and then it falls into that next track, which is
Yeah.
what is it? "We Will Rock You." Is that the next track? I think it is. I
Yeah.
may be wrong, but I think that's the next track, and it flows right into that.
Right. Yep. I agree. I agree, Glenn. I'm ready to go back to my original dimension too. Yeah. Paranormal Pixie.
You can't mess with old people like that. Just
Right.
saying. They get grumpy.
Well,
They get
Paranormal
grumpy.
Pixie says it's only in book version that says mirror, mirror. I did not know that. So I'll have to go back and watch the movie, I guess.
That Pixie, that is a good thing because we as adults will get things mixed up
Yeah.
like that. And I know I was read that story as a child.
Yeah.
But I want to say the original before they digitally remastered it. The original said mirror, mirror.
Yeah. Yep. Crystal says he did say of the world. I love Queen. Right?
See,
I always
Crystal
thought that
Jimmy,
too.
rock on. See, we know. We
Yeah.
know.
Well, and Al just says, yes, it does. Not the last verse. I have that album. There you go. I
Okay.
know.
So there's okay. All right.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I'm trying to read
Just
through
when
some of
you
the
think
comments.
you have a good memory, you don't. You really, really don't.
Right? I know, right? I've got more. I'm not done. I've got a whole bunch of these. So we can talk for a while on these.
Everybody else is like, why are we doing this? This is not what we should be doing on a Sunday afternoon,
Right?
questioning our whole childhood.
Right? Do you remember the movie Risky Business with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Back in the early 80s, I believe. Do you remember when he was singing the song, dancing, and he slid into the living room with his shirt and socks
Yes.
on? Okay,
Yes.
do you remember him with glasses or without glasses?
With glasses.
Nope. Apparently he never had glasses on. I remember with glasses as well. I remember with sunglasses.
Yeah. And they look like Ray-Bans. They look like Ray-Ban sunglasses. I remember those.
Yeah. Well, apparently we were in another dimension because he does not have glasses on when in the movie now. I know, right? I know. I'm telling you, it gets worse, man. Your childhood is totally going to be ruined when we're done with this show.
Oh my gosh. Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I remember sunglasses.
Yeah.
But then
me
again,
too.
the artwork portrayed him from that movie. It portrayed him like the movie cover and like if you went to the movie theater to see it, it portrayed him in that shirt. And I
Yeah.
remember that he had sunglasses on at that point. Now that may be where they've screwed us up from the artwork to the original motion picture.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Because I remember with glasses. Pam Smith says, yeah, he did. That's how it starts out. And he rips them off his face like he's a bag of chips and pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah.
just did.
See, that's what I remember. But then again, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Well, apparently
don't know. I'm getting really confused here. I don't remember nothing right.
Me either. What about you guys seen Silence of the Lamb? Hannibal Lecter movie.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you remember when he says, "Hello, Clarice"?
Yes.
Well, apparently he doesn't. He says, "Good morning." I remember "Hello, Clarice."
I remember hello.
"Hello, Clarice." And it was just this eerie, "Hello, Clarice" type voice. Yeah.
You, does
Yeah.
anybody else remember that good morning, or does everybody else remember hello?
I don't remember any good morning. I remember "Hello, Clarice."
Because he met with her on several occasions during the movie, and I'm thinking maybe it was another
Well,
time he maybe said hello.
Pyromedic says two different scenes, one on phone, one was hello. And that could very well be true. Yeah, could very well be true. And then Titan 70 says, just watch the original Disney clip of Snow White on YouTube. The Queen says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." That's what I thought. Well, apparently, from what
Now, if it's the original,
and
that's what I said.
maybe the new one. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
it's
don't even know there
the
was a new
digital
one.
remastered one.
Yeah,
They might have changed that.
yeah.
But oh yeah, see, somebody's trying to dupe us because some things I do remember, especially when you were a kid and watched it 150
Yeah.
times back to
Yeah.
back.
Yep. Oh, here's a good one. Do you remember Smokey the Bear?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Was he Smokey the Bear to you? Or was he
Yes,
Smokey Bear?
Smokey the Bear.
Yep, that's how I remember him. Apparently, he was never Smokey the Bear. He's always been Smokey Bear. I don't remember that. Right?
Right? It was Smokey the Bear.
That's how I remember him too. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
It's crazy stuff. I know. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
I-
Yeah.
yeah. Al says no way, Smokey the Bear. Crystal J says Smokey the Bear. See, yeah, Smokey the Bear, the bear.
The Bear. That's how I remember him as a kid. Yeah, it was always Smokey the Bear. Another one that's kind of interesting, I thought it's about Mother Teresa, and what they said that I do remember this. I was raised Catholic, and I remember going to church with my grandma and talking about her entering sainthood in the early to mid 90s. Well, apparently she was not canonized as a saint until 2016. So
Wait, because there was a big old thing about it. I mean, they went on and on and on about her
in the
becoming a
90s,
saint
in the 90s,
in
yes.
the
But
90s.
apparently, according to this, the real event happened in 2016.
That didn't happen 7 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't,
No.
you know what I'm saying? I remember going to church with my grandma, and I remember that being a big thing back then.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah. So that is just kind of weird to me. Let's see
See,
here.
Paranormal Pixie says Smokey the Bear. You got it, girl. That's what I said.
What I'm saying. Yep. I am with her.
You ain't messing with me. It'll always be Smokey the Bear.
Yeah. What about Mickey Mouse wearing suspenders? I remember him with suspenders.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I remember him with suspenders, especially in Steamboat Willie. I remember him with suspenders.
Yeah. So apparently Mickey Mouse did not have suspenders. Yeah.
Even Mickey Mouse was a lie. I'm really upset.
Yep. And I was reading about where these could be like false memories is what they're saying. And here's what they say. A more likely explanation for the Mandela effect involves false memories. Before we consider what this is meant by false memories, let's look at an example of the Mandela effect, as it helps us to understand how memory can be faulty and may lead to the phenomenon that we are describing. So, yeah.
Yeah, but how come so many people remember the same thing? I mean,
Yeah.
this is where the issue comes in, is that we don't have just a few people. We have a mass of people who are remembering these things the exact same way.
Right. Titan 70 says, I think the original black and white Mickey had suspenders. That's how I remember him, but I don't know.
Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie was the first one.
Right, right. Paranormal Pixie says, I have been there and seen the original newspaper that started Smokey the Bear campaign to prevent wildfires. So it is just so weird,
Smokey the
bear. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of funny. Crystal says, if you guys tell me Barney was green and not purple, I'm out. Right.
Honestly, Crystal, all I could say was I remember he was green and purple, but I don't know what part or the majority was purple or green. So I'm not going to tell you anything. I don't know. We did not watch Barney in my house.
Yeah, I really didn't watch Barney either. Here's one that a lot of people should remember, The Wizard of Oz. Just about everybody's seen that movie. So do you remember Dorothy saying, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore?
I don't remember her saying Toto, but I remember her saying we're not in Kansas anymore.
Well, apparently she says, Toto, I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
That doesn't make sense. You're in a whole new place. I don't think we're in, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. No, my thing was like, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Right.
Well, I mean, it could be either way. But then again,
I know.
If you go back to the original or the digital remastered, it could be something different.
What about, still on The Wizard of Oz, when the Wicked Witch yells, fly, my pretties, fly. Do you remember that? Well, apparently she only said fly, fly, fly. When, the monkey flying things,
The flying monkeys?
Yeah. Supposedly she says, fly, my pretties, fly, is what I remember her saying.
See, and I don't know that movie that well to be able to determine which is what.
Yeah, and then apparently she says, fly, fly, fly.
So where does she use the word my pretties at? Because she did use that.
Oh.
No. Okay. This is not good for me on a Sunday. It's not good to fry my brain on a Sunday.
So do you remember, this is another one, Kevin Costner movie. The if you build it, they will come. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that is Field of Dreams. Yes. Yep. Field of Dreams. Yes.
Okay. Well, supposedly he says, if you build it, he will come.
See, and I heard about that one before.
Yeah.
Now, who is he?
Right.
Because it should have been, because that doesn't make sense. It should have been they, because he's hoping for all of these people to come, not just one in particular person. So who does he mean by he, if that's what it says?
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Here. Mongolian Monsters got it.
Yep. Hey, my pretty, you and your little dog too. That's it.
Yep.
And then
so's Glenn. They both got it.
Yep. I'll get you next time, my pretty.
Because I knew it was said. I just didn't know exactly where that was used at.
Yeah. So I don't know. That I just thought that was kind of weird.
But Field of Dreams, I did hear that one having, a Mandela effect, because that's a big one. That's a big one, because a lot of people remember it being said, they will come, not he. So I went back at one point, now this is a couple years back, and I went back and I watched the movie, and it was a newer version, and
Yeah.
it says he.
Right. Right.
I didn't go back to the book. I should have went back to the book to see what the book says.
Yeah.
Because it may say they, because
Yeah.
they like to change things. So
Right. Okay. What about, you remember Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart?
yes,
Wrong? Okay. So I remember it as being, don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart. Y'all don't want to hear me sing it. Just letting you know. So I'll just read it. And I do remember this part too, though. But they're saying it's always said, don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. What do you remember?
don't break my heart.
Yeah. Hey, B. How are you? Yeah, don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. But then I also remember, don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart. Sing it in your head.
I know. I mean, it's just, but could that be another verse? Like one it'll say, don't break my heart, and the other one says, don't tell my heart. Could that be two? But then again,
It says, most of you reading can hear this song play out loud in your head, but after reading this next bit, right. Don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart, but you'd be misremembering the song if that's what happened. In reality, the lyrics go, don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart.
that is wrong.
Right? I know.
What am I gonna? I'm not gonna. That doesn't even make sense. Don't tell my heart.
Right.
That don't make sense. That's not. I don't know. That's one I refuse to believe because that doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to tell your heart. I'm telling you.
Right. Exactly. So do you remember Three Little Pigs when the big bad wolf says, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house
Blow
down?
your house down. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it says, but it's actually, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. Yeah, I don't remember that. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down is what the big bad wolf said to the Three Little Pigs, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, could this been in the original writing of the story of the Three Little Pigs? When the nursery rhyme was first formed, and it has just changed over the years and adapted.
Yeah.
To that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh God. I'm sitting here going, no, I'm going to blow your house down.
Yeah. Well, actually, Mongolian Monster says he remembers it being in. I don't remember it being in.
Well, that's what I said. The original writing of the story could have been blow your house in. Right. And then adapted from there on out.
Right. It could have been. I don't know.
So that may not necessarily be a Mandela effect. That may be just something where it's changed too, and nobody remembers the original writing.
Right. Exactly. So here's another one. So you know how everybody says that Adam and Eve ate the forbidden apple?
No, that was Eve.
Well, yeah, but that's what they're saying, that she ate the forbidden apple.
Right.
Well, apparently it's a forbidden fruit. It's never been mentioned that it was an apple.
B's bringing up who remembers Mandela dying in the 80s. We'll get to that in just a second. We did cover that.
Yeah.
I always remember the apple tree.
Me too.
I don't remember a fruit tree. Again, that's probably adaptation. That's just my opinion.
Probably so.
I mean, it could have been originally written as the fruit tree.
Yeah, only fruit.
I mean, it could have been persimmons for all we know. It could have been persimmons.
It was probably figs, grapes, or wheat.
Probably. Like I said, it could have been persimmons for all we know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
But it may have been adapted to apple because we as Americans know that's what an apple tree is.
Yeah. B.
And yes, go back. Yeah, you got her up, so that's fine.
I did. Yeah, the Mandela dying in the 80s. I told everybody here just a little bit ago that I remember having a conversation with my grandma about him dying in prison. And that was way back when. And apparently he died in 2013. So go figure. Maybe I was in another dimension. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, maybe they let that leak out thinking something else, because again, they didn't want him to die as a martyr
Right.
in prison. So that's why they let him out. But maybe they were just saying that in the 80s because they didn't want him to be a martyr whatsoever. So they just said, oh, he already died.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it could have been a political move, so they wouldn't, be receiving so much, problem.
Yeah. Well, Bettina says, but they showed that on TV, and she's right. I do remember this. But however, apparently he died in 2013, and even other presidents that we've had, went to his funeral. So I just find that, I think Barack Obama or something. When I was talking to my kids about this before we did the show, and he's like, yeah, Barack Obama went to his funeral. And I'm like, well, I'm telling you, I remember talking to Granny about him dying in the 90s. So it's just so weird.
Right. And
So,
I mean, that's my point. It's like, could they have leaked that just so they would quit getting grief for having him in prison and the protest and stuff because he was in prison? Would that stop it if they say, hey, he died, he's done?
Yeah. Even Bettina said she remembers him dying in the 80s. So I'm glad I'm not the only one losing my mind out there. Yeah. So Glenn says that I remember him being released. He became president of South Africa. So it's just weird what some of us remember, differently than what others say or think. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. It's just so weird to me. So I'm going to give a shout out here to Dale. We met him up in Michigan, and it's good to see you. I'm glad you can tune in. And
wonderful. Go ahead and drop the link to your podcast too, please.
Yep. Go ahead and do that in chat if you would, Dale. And then I'm going to reach out to you about getting you to come on a Blondes episode. I have not forgot about that. So anyway, appreciate you tuning in. Let's see.
There was one up there. I can't see who said it, but it's something that is here. Let me see if I can pull it up. There we go.
Oh, it says Brandi, it can't be just they changed it because it wipes out everything and replaces it with the new. No sign of other existing. What power would it take to do that?
See, that's where it brings me back to the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
See, it brings it back to all of that happening. If somebody replaces something or does something just a tad bit different, the waves, the vibrations that it sends through time, that everything that we've ever known would be completely different. Yeah. So again, that is another topic for another time. I don't want to get into that because that's a big one.
Right. Al says, question, why do we all remember it one way, then told something else? That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I from what little I was reading on it, it was saying like our minds are impressionable. So we were led to believe it was this way. And then so we believed it this way. However, it wasn't this way. And, that kind of thing. So
right. And then, there are times like with movies and books, when the books are written first and then the movie is done, that they do change words and things from the book to the movie. And then we always remember what the movie said because there's more people who watch movies than read books. So that's just the society we live in today. But I mean, and then people will always remember what the movie said and not exactly what the book says.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Right.
Terry's right. I vaguely remember some about this. She said, remember when Weird Al Yankovic, the funny rapper, died? He's still alive. That Mandela effect messes with your mind. Absolutely.
Yes.
I do remember that.
Right.
I do. I got to turn my ringtone down. I forgot to turn it off.
Yeah. Jean says butterfly effect is the result of time change.
Yep.
Yes, but it's also a matter of going back in time and changing a minute thing.
Yeah.
And then the vibrations ripple through time and it changes history. So
Yeah.
it's just like a little butterfly wisp and everything changes.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're right, Jean. You're absolutely right when you say that. But it's
Yeah.
such a huge subject. Like I said, this is
Right.
we have to do that another time.
Yep. Big says, I heard that there's been several points in time where the world's ended and we've been pulled into alternate timelines. That's an interesting theory.
That it is because the Kling brothers described it as one time is like sometimes when we have residual hauntings that we may hear like cannons going off or
Sure.
horses neighing or whatever, and there's nothing around, but what it is that we're just hearing a little blip in time,
Right.
that just keeps looping itself.
Yeah.
So it's really well, we're having them on. We'll have them explain it. So watch Blondes and Booze in this next coming month, because we are having the Kling brothers on, and they're going to describe their theory in how that happens. So make sure you tune in for that, because again, that's another big subject.
Yes. Yes. And that's actually going to be a pretty good show. I don't mean to change the subject now on this one, but kind of something weird. They've been investigating a 30-year-old murder, and they found some answers. So they're going to actually reveal their answers on our show, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, it's going to be exciting
with the help of the other side. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just saw through there something about it was a Jedi mind trick or something. And I believe that. I believe it.
War criminal. Yep.
Yeah. It's a Jedi mind tricks. Yeah. I believe it. I believe it. It's like the old bait and switch thing. Well, here, look at this. This is what it is. Oh, no, it's this.
Right. Well, Mark Fitzgerald says maybe time travel is changing the reality we live in.
And that may be a possibility. A lot of people have theories on that, and they say that time travel has actually happened. Yeah. And that's why the Mandela effect is real, because it's been changed in our history. Yep. That is that's a really deep subject. But yeah, I believe that things are happening that we are unaware of happened, and there's a reason for it, is because they make sure that we don't remember these things.
Yeah. And I agree with Paranormal Pixie here. Residual haunts are fascinating. I do too. Because and actually, what people who don't know what a residual haunting is, it's just a loop that's constantly played. There's nothing. You're not acknowledged that they can see you, or they don't interact with people. It's just a loop that constantly plays.
It's just a little itty bitty clip in time that is just taken and replayed and replayed and replayed over and over again.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy stuff. Jean asks, do you all remember when the kid Mickey Hates Everything died from Pop Rocks? It was on the news, and now they say he did it. You know what? I vaguely do remember that. Yes, I do.
Yes,
I do.
Because I remember, because my mom wouldn't buy us Pop Rocks no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. That is, oh my gosh. Here we are. I mean, this is just a crazy subject, man. Like I said, my whole childhood is like.
Isn't that Mikey will eat anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that kid. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. Yep. And then Pyromedic says, you think they would screw with something other than the Seven Dwarfs? You would think so.
Maybe they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, if time travel is just beginning or just starting, they want to start out something small.
Yeah.
Something real small, something that you perhaps wouldn't catch, but they would, coming back to their original time,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Anyway, I don't know. Let's go on to a different subject. What do you want to talk about, Brandi? Because this is blowing my mind.
Move on to making my nerves get all frazzled. I don't know, right? Jean, what do you think? It sounds like her nerves are getting frazzled too. Me too. I'm about done with it.
Right. Let's move on to something else.
Well, we're at the 49-minute mark anyway. Why don't we talk about some residuals? Yeah, because I mean, Al's sitting in here and Terry's sitting in here. There's a lot of other people that
Yeah.
have seen this happen for themselves, and this would make a great subject. I honestly think so because I mean, man, they'll scare you just like anything else. You're not expecting these things to happen, and
Right.
it's like people report always of like say a woman in a white dress standing at the top of the stairs, and you'll see her descend, you know, come down the stairs about three steps and then quit.
Yeah.
But it's always at the top of the stairs, and it's always the same three steps, and
Yeah.
that's a residual.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we need to really, yeah, we can really go into that. That'd be all right. Because
Oh, yeah.
that leads us all into different hauntings and things like that, and what people have seen, because we're really interested in what you've seen. I mean,
How about this? How about this, Brandi? How about if I drop the link into the chat and we can do one at a time, one person at a time. If you want to come on and tell us if you have a ghost story with a residual type haunting.
that's right. You can come right on with us and we'll talk about it. And no, Titan, I did not cleanse my house yet. I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I haven't been able to breathe really well due to allergies and being sick and everything else. It's just one thing that I just can't do at this moment. But have I cleansed my crystals and put them around and done other things? Yes, but the big cleansing's got to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want me to drop the link in the chat?
Yeah, go ahead and drop the link in the chat. And then when we come back from break, and then we'll just start picking them up and talk about hauntings.
Yep. So here's the deal, guys. I am going to drop the link in the chat. If you have a good ghost story or something you want to talk about with us, I'll bring you on. You'll be backstage for a bit, but I'll bring you on and you can tell us your ghost story and we'll just try to keep everybody's story to 5 minutes or under. That way, if others want to come on too and tell us their story. So anyway, I'm going to drop it right now, and we are going to take a 5-minute break. And I'll take you as they come in one at a time. So
awesome. Anyway, okay, everybody, we'll see you in 5.
Yep. Let me find the break thing. Let me find it here. There it is. Okay. We'll see you in 5 minutes, guys.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, everybody. I'm back. Brandi will be here in a minute. There she is.
Hi. Hi, everybody. But something I wanted to touch on real quick is about what's going on in my home and everything. And I don't know if I got to this the other night when we were talking, but I was having issues as Krista and I, before the show, and Krista and I were on here and we were talking. And the next thing you know, everything started flickering. Only one light, not all of my lights, just the one light. And it only did it the one time. It flicked 3 times, on and off, on and off, on and off. And then it kept kicking me out of StreamYard. We were having issues. Finally got back on with Krista, and Krista and I were having a discussion with whatever's in this area of mine.
Mhm.
And we had some harsh words for what was going on, her and I. And from then on out, I kid you not, from then on out, I've had the best signal that night that I have ever had. Everything just kind of disappeared. There was nothing, had no glitches, no nothing going on all night long. It was incredible. But also, I did bring out the big guns. Now, this right here is Dragon Blood Sage, because it made me mad. You don't come into my personal space. So this is what I have reserved for that thing that's running around in here. So just to let you know, we're going to get rid of it for good, because you don't come in my home. You weren't asked to come in. So.
Yep. Looks like Al jumped on here. I'm going to go ahead. Al, are you ready? I can bring you up.
Ready?
Hey, Al.
Hey, ladies, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I got one funny story.
Okay.
Oh, I love funny stories.
Yeah,
okay.
We were at the Hoover House in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, with what's his name? Pam and Steve. I don't know if you know those guys from the Hoover House. They run the Bigfoot. I mean, not the Bigfoot. The Gettysburg Bash every year. It's they donate all the money to the
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and they're great people, and there's a few other people that are all involved in that. And we were doing table tipping one night in the house, and we were my wife and I were the only 2 people in the house besides Pam and Steve, who were the intakers. And they said, well, we put you upstairs in the room that's got the most activity. At this particular room, every night at a certain time, somebody gets in bed with you every single night. So, we laughed. Okay, sure, we did the table tipping. It was very emotional. My wife went upstairs. She couldn't handle it anymore. And I stayed downstairs. I had a lot more family members come through. So at the end of the night, I went upstairs. Now, this is like the main suite, out of all the rooms they have in the inn, this is the best one. They gave us the best one because we were the only two people there. And so I go in bed. It's in the wee hours after 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, something like that. I get in bed and I lay down and I walk in the room. My wife is snoring like a chainsaw, right? And I get in bed and I lay down and I'm all wired from the table tipping, because the table tipping is, mind boggling, and I lay in bed and I feel somebody move in between my wife and I, not really thinking it was anybody else. I thought my wife had just rolled over. So I turn around, I look at her. She's still facing the other way, snoring. So, okay, no big deal. I lay back down and I'm just sitting there, contemplating what happened over the night. And I feel it again. And I turn and I look at my wife again. Again, she hasn't moved. So the third time I get this movement in the bed, I turn to who was ever in the bed with us and I say, hey, listen, if you don't stay effing still, you're going to have to go sleep on the goddamn couch because I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. And from that point on, there was no other movement in the bed.
That's creepy. Like,
it's, but
that's just,
you feel someone get in bed with you, but when you reach over, there's nothing there. You don't feel anything, and it's just crazy. But it was funny. After I gave it holy hell, it stayed still for the rest of the night, and all three of us slept like kings.
It's like, if you're going to be in this bed, stop moving. Just stop. Yeah. It's okay. Just lay there. Be still. Let me sleep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was funny because like I said, I gave it holy hell, and it stayed still, and that's my only one residual thing that I ever had happen in all the years of investigating.
Wow,
that is something else. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see,
thank you so much.
Here's my thing. Ghosts don't scare me. However, I have slept in many haunted locations. I think I would crap my pants if something would jump in bed with me. That's not cool to me.
I guess, but we knew going in that it was going to happen. It wasn't a surprise to us. It was told to us ahead of time, so we knew going in. So it didn't surprise me. They knew who it was. The inn used to be an old nursing home. And apparently it was one of the women that lived in that room that still stays there all the time. I forgot what her name was, but so we knew who it was.
Wow. Do you ever but in that instance when they said, hey, somebody might climb into bed with you, did you think, oh yeah, right, okay? I mean, I do that.
Yeah.
When people tell me, oh, this is going to happen, I'm like, yeah, sure it will.
Yeah, no, we didn't take anybody serious. We didn't, my wife slept through the whole thing, so she didn't even know what happened.
Wow. Yeah, no thanks. No, so your wife wasn't freaked out when you did tell her about it?
No, because she thought I was bullshitting because she didn't feel it.
I would have been, that's my personal space. Don't come in my bed.
Yeah.
After all the stuff we got from the table tipping, that was like the least impressive thing that night. You know what I mean? So, believe me. Yeah.
Wow, that's just crazy.
Now I will tell you that I've had my bed shake. I haven't had anything crawl in with me, but it felt like somebody was actually, just sitting there and shaking the bed when I was in it. But I've never had it like somebody crawl in bed with me. That would probably freak me out too.
Yeah, that would totally.
I don't think I could handle it.
Because I knew it was going to happen, or at least I was aware it was going to happen, so it didn't freak me out at all,
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I stay at the Ray County Museum. I've stayed there quite a bit. And, whenever we go to bed, I always tell them, listen, guys, we're going to bed. Just keep it quiet. And I sleep like a baby at that place. And it's one of the most haunted locations I know. But I just tell them, listen, I'm going to bed, let me sleep. And they do.
Well, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only residual thing that ever happened, because we were told ahead of time it happened every night at this time, and and it did.
Yeah.
But that's amazing, though.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No thanks.
Wow. Just no thank you. But
Yeah.
but thanks for coming on and telling us your story. I appreciate that. I mean,
that was a quick one.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. You're always
Well,
welcome.
We've got all the stories for next time, I'm sure.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you
bye.
later.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Got a couple questions here.
Sure.
Brandi, let's get answered real quick. Gene Hudson asked, where do you get dragon blood sage?
I get mine at my local, well, it's a lady who sells crystals, but she carries all that kind of stuff. But you can get them at metaphysical shops anywhere.
Probably
You can
even get Amazon, I would think, would even.
Yeah, Amazon. You can get on Amazon. I prefer going to a crystal shop, because that way you can look through, because they have several different kinds. You may not need this strong stuff. The actual dragon's blood I use for nasty things. But this particular thing that is in here is made me mad. That's why I'm bringing up strong stuff. I don't want to. I don't want it to stay, and I don't want it to think that it can come back. So that's why I'm going to use that instead. But I also have where, like, if I'm just cleansing, cleansing, my room or my office, I have white sage with lavender, which just makes everything a relaxed environment. I mean, you like I said, go to a metaphysical shop, because that way you can pick and choose what you're particularly looking for.
Yep. As Paranormal Pixie just said too, most metaphysics shops carry it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Facebook user, I'm sorry I can't say your name just because it's not showing your name through Facebook, but says, hi, has it always been in your home? And I believe that question came in when you were talking about your house, Brandi.
Yeah, no, this particular one has not been in my home. This is something that it was, I don't know, hitchhiker, hijacker, whatever you want to call it. It was something weird that happened to me on my way to work. I saw a black, it was a black shadow of a person, and it was on the side of the road, and it was in this at 4:30 in the morning. So it looked like it was coming up to cross the road. Well, then I looked back at the road, then I looked back to see if that thing was going to cross the road so I can slow down, and it was gone. And at that point, I smelled like smelled like burning hot oil, too hot, like cooking oil, like it was too hot, and it was smelling like that. And it stayed with me for about a half a mile, and then it was gone. Ever since then, Krista was having a few issues with Letitia in Michigan. And then that Sunday I came home, got in bed, rolled over to go to sleep, and I heard a man's voice in my ear say my name. It wasn't in my head, it was in my ear. And then we had the flickering of the lights. And then, like I said, so this thing has made me mad. It's in my personal space, and it shouldn't be here. It's like I had my light bulb on and didn't even realize I had my light bulb on.
Right. Real quick, still on the dragon's blood here. Jean asked, is dragon's blood sage grown, or is it sage that has something added to it? I personally don't know the answer to that question.
I do not know the answer to that, actually.
You know what? Let's Google it. I will Google it real quick.
Yes, Google it, please, because all I know is that what it tells me about what it's supposed to do, it doesn't tell me exactly what's all in it. It just says, that it is dragon's blood sage, which that dragon's blood is also a crystal. So you can purchase those too, and that's one of the stronger ones also for protection.
Yeah, I'm looking here through it. So let's see if it says what it is. In the meantime, while I'm looking, I am going to let you answer this question, Brandi. Hi, do you ever deal with 3 knocks?
Yes, I do. I deal with all kinds of knocks. Now, they're not necessarily all in 3s, but there have been 3s. Even my lights will flick on and off in 3s. I don't know why that is, but they like to do that to me. But normally when I'm out in the field, I'll usually hear like one loud bang. And then my subtle knocks are usually in threes. I don't know why that is, but if it's a loud bang, it's usually only one time. And it does catch me off guard quite a bit and startles me. You might hear a few nice words out of my mouth and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found an answer.
Okay.
Dragon's blood is a resin that forms naturally on the berries of the cinnabar tree and is used to amplify white sage's protection and energetic cleansing properties.
There you go. So it's natural.
Yeah. I did not know that. That's why I,
Yep.
wanted to
I didn't know that either. I mean, because I like to keep up on my crystals and stuff and a little bit of the sage. I know it works, but it doesn't work for me. I mean, it's all depends on you, but for me, I know it works for me. And the dragon's blood does work for me in, the nasty situations. So I use that for that. But like I said, when I want a calming effect, I'll either just use plain white sage or a lavender sage or something sweet and nice, and just to make everything good in the home.
Yep. Crystal says, and this is a good topic, my charges are so super religious, they won't take me to the store down the street. They said it's a witchcraft store, so I order stuff online. Can't wait to buy a car. There's a lot of people that that do believe like metaphysics stores are witchcraft and stuff. And I think it's a lot of religions and a lot of the way people were brought up, and it's not that it's a wrong thing. It's just their belief. So I understand that.
Right.
However, I personally was raised Catholic. I don't believe that a metaphysics store is a witch store, or, that witches are all bad, because they're not. I do know people who practice Wiccan and they do it for good, for love and light. They don't do the bad stuff. So, I think everything has good and bad,
Well, yeah, and then I think of course with your sage and your crystals and everything. This is all stuff made within the earth. This is not something that we are conjuring up and all of a sudden, hey, here we got this curse or hex. This is already made. This is in the earth, and it does have healing properties. Again, It's all in what you believe and that sort of thing. And I do believe in God and all that stuff, and I believe that He made these things for us.
Yeah. Yep. And then Paranormal Pixie, she says 3 is kind of a natural thing. I refer to Big Bang Theory. Knock, 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 Penny.
Right?
Right.
Absolutely.
And Facebook user, hello. She says that her name is Sarah Russell.
Well, hi, Sarah.
Yep. We would appreciate if you'd go onto YouTube and subscribe to our Blondes and Booze channel, and then we can start seeing your name. So
yeah, we can see you anytime.
Yeah, and we appreciate you tuning in for sure. Midwest
Absolutely.
Night Watchers says 3 is a number of the universe, along with 6 and 9. And honestly, I see the number 6 a lot. That honestly is my number, which is weird.
My number is 4, and I usually see it in angel numbers. So there you go. Al says, let's get into numerology. That's another whole nother show, Al.
That's another whole other show, and you'll probably have to come on it because I don't know enough about it to get into a deep discussion about it.
Yes.
So, sure.
Yes, exactly.
But I'd like to learn.
Right.
Yep. And then back on this here, Paranormal Pixie says, and what does it matter? The high percentage of witches are people who are good, kind, caring people. Amen.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's what I keep saying. It's just kind of like, it doesn't matter what or how you live your life as long as it's good and kind.
Yeah.
As long as you have those properties in life, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. And like I said, there's good and bad in everything.
Yes.
So
yeah.
And there's a lot of people. I personally believe in God and I believe, in the Bible and all that good stuff. But I don't knock anybody who doesn't, because a lot of people, they have their own higher power, and that's what they believe. And then again, it goes back to what we preach. It's all about intention. So if you have intention of putting out good and love and harmony and peace, it's all there, it's you're still doing the right thing. So,
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. So
I'm not here to judge. That's not my job.
exactly. Yep. Yep. And that's, that's my personal belief, but I don't knock anybody who doesn't. So, speaking of beliefs, I know we're kind of jumping all over the wall here, with different subjects,
It's
but
better to
it's
crush it
Sunday
by
afternoon.
childhood.
Right. So some of you may have heard me say this before, but the movie The Exorcist was actually a true story about a little boy, and it was here in St. Louis. And the house still stands here in St. Louis, and it's a residential house. And the gentleman that owns it, he doesn't believe in heaven or hell. He's atheist, and he doesn't have any paranormal encounters at all. So what does that tell you?
Yep. If you don't believe in heaven or hell, you don't believe in angels and demons, and
right.
And of course, we all know that demons can't touch you unless you allow them to in one form or another. So if he doesn't believe in them, well, then he's not going to have any issues.
Right. And then, however, like the team that I used to be on, did investigations there at that house, and one of my ex-teammates, he was scratched on the back of his neck, and
yes, he was,
things like that in the house. And now, the owner has nothing happens.
Yeah.
So
and that was in a documentary where he was scratched and how that was done. So, I mean, it was physically caught on camera.
Yeah.
So
I believe it was on The Haunted Boy by the Booth brothers.
Yeah. The Haunted Boy. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, if you want to catch something kind of weird, check that out. That's the investigation after that family had moved out.
Yeah. Terry says, I got to investigate that house years ago with PTF, and PTF is my old group that I was talking about. And Terry is currently a member of PTF. So Al says the owner is lying. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the man. I personally have never met the man, but that's just, what I've heard.
Yeah, because he doesn't let people in his home. They don't investigate it. He lives in that home as if we live in our home. It's just an ordinary house to him.
And it's a nice house. It's in a nice residential area. I don't know if anybody has ever seen The Haunted Boy, the the movie that the Booth brothers
documentary.
Documentary. It's a good show, and I believe Ghost Adventures. I know Ghost Adventures was there. They did a show there, as did the Tennessee Wraith Chasers. There too. And it's just a normal looking house. It's a nice house in a nice area. So go figure. Another side story to that. The actual they started out, I believe, doing the exorcism in that house. However, they ended up moving him to the Lexan Brothers Hospital in St. Louis, and I don't remember what floor it was on. It was like third or the fourth floor of the Lexan Brothers Hospital. To this day, that Lexan Brothers Hospital had closed down, and it was changed into low-income housing. And to this day, that floor is unoccupied. It's just a bit of a
Yeah, they don't use it. The hospital closed it down, and they still don't use it.
They still don't use it. Yeah. So I think that's kind of interesting myself. So anyway, yeah, it's just some crazy stuff out there.
Right.
Crazy stuff, man. So what, anybody want to have a topic they want to talk about, just drop it in down there, and we'll chat on it.
Yeah, we don't care. It's Sunday afternoon. We're just kind of, relaxing and trying to enjoy our day. That's all.
Yep, exactly. It's nice outside. And honestly, I tried to do this outside. I took my laptop outside, and the wind was blowing so bad. It was kind of blowing my laptop. I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. So here I come back into the kitchen table.
Yeah, with everything that's, again, with it warming up, it's starting to bloom. And if I were to go outside, I'm already having problems. If I were to go outside and sit outside for any length of time, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah. Yep. So here it says, Penny Van says, excuse me, clearly it was the boy that was the origin and not in the house, because it was only after Lewis was scratched onto him and they moved to St. Louis. It didn't all start there. And that's true.
That is true.
He did, he was doing a Ouija board, I think, with his grandma for quite some time. And I think his grandma passed away, if I remember correctly. So if anybody knows if I'm missing something or saying something wrong, please say that in chat. But his grandmother passed away, and then he started to become oppressed and all that good stuff. And then he did have Lewis scratched into his belly, and they had family in St. Louis that lived at that house, and that's how he got here, if I remember.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it did not originate here, but it sure ended here.
Yeah, Penny, you're absolutely correct. It started, and I don't remember if it was like Michigan or Wisconsin or Minnesota, but it was
an eastern state, and I can't tell you right now what it was.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, it's an interesting story, and I don't believe like the boy's head spun, and actually, I believe in the movie they said like his head didn't do circles or nothing like the movie. All movies are a little bit far fetched, but it made for good ratings.
Exactly.
So we have a question here. Let me go to it. How do you charge your crystals? I personally, for me, I keep mine in my window, and I charge with just the light. And then on a lot of full moon nights, I'll set them outside on my deck. That's how I personally do it. However, Brandi, how do you do yours?
Well, of course, mine's on a full moon, of course. But also I use selenite. I use a lot of selenite.
Mhm.
I usually have charging plates and things like that. So if you can't, like, I can't move my whole collection, it'd be impossible. So what I do is I set certain ones that I use, I meditate with, or use for healing, or for ghost investigations, things like that. I always make sure that they're charged, and I'll set them on selenite, which, like I said, are charging plates. I like to use gypsum selenite. That seems to be the strongest, that works best for me. But they have all different kinds of, like, satin spar and all kinds of different selenite that you can use. They're all really good. Like this piece back here, this one right here is pure selenite.
Mm-hmm.
So with my bracelets or necklaces, I'll just set them right on top here and just let them charge.
Yep.
Don't have to do anything else.
Yep. And Sheldon and Dawn asked, and what are your favorites? Go ahead and answer.
Well, it's kind of like that. That's a hard question. I have all kinds of favorites. Right now, I like my jaspers. My jaspers are my favorite stones to meditate with, because you have all different kinds that you can use. Agates are great. I mean, like this one right here is a green banded agate, and it is probably about 4 or 5 pounds. But
Yeah.
it's just pretty to look at. But yeah,
Mhm.
I keep this one charged too, because agate's always a good one. It's an all around, make sure everything's great.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really up to you. You have to look into them and see what you actually need. If it's something internal, if it's something mental, or if it's just for protection, you really need to find that thing that works for you.
Mhm.
And like
Yep.
I said, all of my crystals have different meanings, and they do different things. And when I get them, I cleanse them with sage, I charge them on the plate, and then I give them a job. So the job may be, like, say, watch over my heart, make sure that everything is good with my heart, or make sure, like, even with your chakras, make sure that your throat chakra is working well, or your crown chakra is clear, or you've got to really dig into it and find out what you need, and then go from there.
And also on that note with crystals, I personally take crystals whenever I go hunting, and I keep them in my pocket. Since being new to researching for the cryptids, I also take them with me doing that as well. So just
It's something that at first, when we started digging into the cryptids, we didn't think about crystals and their protection. We thought we were dealing with a purely physical presence.
flesh and blood. We were 100% flesh and blood at the time.
And then we are figuring out that may not be the truth.
Right.
So we just protect ourselves all the way around. So
Exactly. But my point being is that I don't care if you're ghost hunting or out looking for cryptids or even UFOs, it wouldn't hurt to carry protection. Again, it's about your intent, whatever, you're drawn to. And I personally, for me, myself, when I do things like that, I carry black tourmaline in my pocket. That's
Right.
my own
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's always a great one to carry.
Mhm.
Or, obsidian is another one to carry.
Yep. Okay. Trish asked, Krista, have you been to the Limp Mansion? I have captured some great EVPs. You know what? I've been to the Limp Mansion for a wedding, but never to ghost hunt. And honestly, it's probably 45 minutes away from me. I need to make the trip. So
Yeah, if we could get in on a ghost hunt, but I hate ghost hunts sometimes, public ghost hunts, because there's too many people. So if you're serious, like we're serious, it's most of the evidence we get on public ghost hunts, we have to throw it out.
Just go rent a room for the night there.
That's where I'm saying. If we can get a room, then that's different. But of course, those are so expensive. You're talking about like $300 a night.
Yeah.
And that's not on my list.
Yeah. I know, right? We have a lot of them.
Yeah, we have a lot of trips this year we got to take, and that is not on one of them. But I've got a lot of trips that I am taking. So I mean, I hope to get some really cool places in this year.
Yep, me too. Crystal J, I have a dumb question. Can you still charge with full moon if the sky is overcast? Crystal, there's no dumb question, so don't think it is a dumb question. It's not.
Right.
But yes, absolutely. It's a full moon, so yes, you're still getting the energy that the moon is putting off. I believe.
Yeah, just like say, how a full moon will affect the ocean. It affects the waves and everything else, and how it comes in and goes out. Same thing with crystals. Even if it's overcast, that the position of the moon and it being so close, it is going to charge your crystals. Absolutely.
Yep. Penny Van says, I create jewelry and mixed media art, so I have hundreds of stones and crystals. You know what, Penny Van, you're more than welcome to drop your link in our chat there. And if anybody's interested, if you sell your product.
Right. Or absolutely. Go to our Facebook page. Our Facebook page. Drop it in there. Shoot. Put some pictures in there. We love that stuff.
Yep. You're more than welcome to drop your link here in chat and do our Facebook page too as well. So Paranormal Pixie says, yes, it's believed that direct moonlight is better, but I absolutely will charge even if it's cloudy. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, and one more thing before I forget about charging your crystals. If for any reason that you need a quick charge and you do not have selenite and you do not have moonlight, go bury it in the ground for 24 hours.
Yeah.
The earth will recharge it. So there is always that. Just go bury it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Big Chungus says, I just saw an orb on left side of screen. Top left by cabinet. So it's probably me. However, you may have, only because up in that cabinet behind me, I call it my shelf of the dead. I have, Brandi knows this. She's been to my house. I have everything from, I've got 2 dogs up there that are both in urns that we've had cremated. I've any funeral of family or friends that I've been to within the last 10 years, their funeral cards are up there. So that is pretty much my shelf of death. So you could very well.
I just walk in and go, hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Yep. Just make sure you say hi on the way by. It's good.
Right. So yes, you very well could have. However, my house, Brandi stayed here several times. It's not haunted. Nothing weird goes on here.
I sleep very well.
Yeah. So anyway.
Sheldon and Dawn says what running water will do also. Did you see that part?
I'm not down there yet. I'm slowly going through comments and then just.
All right.
Yeah. Terry says the Limp Mansion is awesome. We need to rent it with friends. Terry, well, you're one of our friends. So hello.
Yes, Terry. It's not a far drive for you or us. So we can, I think there's like 5 rooms. We'll just rent them all. We'll just rent them all.
Right. War Criminal 7 says, I always wear a crucifix for protection. And on that same note, Al says, War, get it blessed by a priest. That's good advice.
Very good advice. Or, you can, I know people who do this. Now I know if this, I don't know if this works as well, but you can always just dip it in holy water.
Yeah. And Paranormal Pixie says, I talk about everything like this on the podcast I co-host on Thursdays. Very cool.
Absolutely. Isn't it fun? This is
We
so fun
actually
to talk about.
Yeah, we actually just came into this show today, like, let's just do whatever. And then I was just scrolling through Facebook and seeing about the Mandela effect. I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, we moved on to happier subjects. Well, maybe happier subjects.
Right.
Penny Van has a question. Brandi and Krista, do you have any hypersenthine considered a protective stone, helps create calmness and quietness? I personally do not.
I don't have any of that, but I have many stones that create the same type of atmosphere. Of course, your amethyst, of course, is your go-to. That creates calmness. That creates, it's also for protection, and it just makes you sleep better. So, I mean, that is really my go-to when I'm having those type of problems.
Yep. And then Penny says, within the mind of the wearer, according to metaphysical beliefs, it grounds us in an attempt to shield from hectic stimuli.
Yeah, I think I need some. My job.
Yeah.
My job is hectic. So yeah, I could probably use some of that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the running water one. Sheldon and Dawn. Running water will also a creek.
Are you speaking of cleansing crystals? Because there are some crystals that you cannot put in water, such as fluorite. Fluorite is one of those that will actually disintegrate in water.
Wow.
So keep in mind that there are some that you cannot use water in. That's why I recommend burying them in the ground, because the ground won't hurt any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful of which ones you're putting in the running water.
Yeah, Trish says, I have collected rocks and minerals all my life. My ex-husband saw me putting some crystals out in the moonlight. He told my parents I was a witch. I got to tell you, I've got personal story of mine. I am married, and I have an in-law, a sister-in-law, who thinks that I am a devil worshiper for what I do. And Brandi knows this whole story, that because
I don't mean to laugh,
but it's true. She does, and she thinks that I'm conjuring up the devil when I go in these homes and help these people. So yeah, we don't have a good relationship because of what I do. So I get it. I get it when your ex-husband told your parents that you were a witch. I totally
and that just really kills me. It's just because, again, I'm going to go back to the point where we're using what God already created, including the universe, the moon, and we're doing all these things that God has already given us, and we're witches. That would be like calling the doctor that you go to see for a cold a witch, because they use pills and chemicals and they put them together to make you feel better. There's no difference, really. There's no difference.
No, it's not. So here's
we're just using what God gave us and not what man made.
Exactly. Terry says, do you find on investigations that if you have too much protection on a haunt, the activity is down, or that people that are negative are non-believers? I think it does affect it. I would agree.
I do agree. It's like if you're with too many skeptics, it's okay to have one or two in the group. But if you're with too many skeptics, that is too much negativity, because they're not trying to debunk or even consider that things might be beyond what they're thinking. Right. They're so set on this is not real. This is all made up, that it does kill everything. It does kill everything.
Yeah. And then Paranormal Pixie asks you, Brandi, did you also take classes with Athena Parakis? I have expanded my knowledge of stones and crystals so much since taking them.
You know what? No, I have not. All of my stuff has been, self-study and talking with other people who are into crystals and things like that. I probably do need to, and a geologist is a really good person to get in with, because they can tell you where it came from and all this other kind of stuff, and other knowledge besides, it's metaphysical properties. And so, yeah, you're right. I do need to get into something like that. But like I said, most of what I have is self-taught through like people I know, books, and things that I've read, and it's all self-taught. So
Yeah.
I just could expand my knowledge for sure.
Yep. And then Al, I guess back on he's lost friends as well. It's because of what I do. And you know what? I gotta tell you, back on that, I wouldn't change anything of what I do or what I have done in the past to help people, because I am doing it to help people. I'm not doing this for self-gain. That has never been a part of the picture. And so if that includes losing, so-called family members, then so be it. My and that's on my in-laws side. My family, my mom never, when she was alive, she never disowned me or thought I was crazy, or my kids, my grown children, they know what I do, and they're interested, but they don't hate me for it, and they understand why I do what I do. So, and you know what, as long as my close family, doesn't have any problems with it, then I'm okay, with it. And I feel like my husband's sister, she just has a shallow mind, I guess,
Right.
So,
It's I've lost friends with in and out of the field. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just
yeah,
kind of like, if you can't open your mind to other
right.
things besides what you believe, then it's kind of like we can't get along anyway, because I'm always open to what somebody else tells me. I mean, these things can actually happen, even though I didn't
Mhm.
witness it myself. I wasn't there,
Yeah,
but I'm not here to say it was real or wasn't real, and I'm not here to say that you're a witch.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not my job. I'm not here to judge.
exactly. Me either.
It's just
Me
kind
either.
of like, yeah. I mean, life is short. Learn it all. That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it makes me laugh though, because it was always all about the ghosts and stuff for me. Now I could only imagine if I have blocked her on Facebook, so she can't even contact me. But if she only knew that now I go out looking for Bigfoot and Dogman, right? So it's just
Yeah,
funny.
I mean, this is kind of like, yeah, when you suit up, put your hiking boots on, and let's go.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. My mom just looks at me and goes, okay.
Yep. 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 So I have no shame in what I do. I really don't.
We have no shame.
Nope. Nope. Because, like I said, we do this for the right reason. We don't do it for
Exactly.
self-gain. There's
Exactly.
countless families that we have helped. And you know what? I would go and I'd do it all over again.
And the
Absolutely.
thing is even if we find that the house is not haunted, it
Right.
doesn't have an entity in it. There is nothing there but their overactive imagination. But by the time we're done and we go through it all and they feel better,
Right.
then we've helped. We've
Yeah.
done our job.
Yeah.
If they can go on with life as normal, we have done our job. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yep. War
But
Criminal
my
7
family is definitely paranormal.
Mhm.
I don't know what it's like to get ridiculed. So
Yeah, and
I
and you
mean,
know what? Honestly, like my grandma was very much into this stuff. She had her own crystals, which my mom didn't know about, my brother didn't know about. My brother's a police officer, and he's more of that attitude, show me. He's got to see it, and I
yeah,
understand his
yeah,
mentality. Nobody
right.
believed me that my grandma was into this until after she passed away. My mom called me and she said, "Do you want Granny's rocks?" I'm like, "Well, heck yeah, I want Granny's rocks," And then she had all kinds of things that they
And
had
you're
no
like,
idea
you don't know how
what.
much money those rocks are.
Right,
Because I
exactly.
always remember Terry Mosby saying that is, if she dies, tell her husband to not throw her rocks away and to
Right,
not give them away.
right, exactly. And War Criminal 7, he says, Krista, we got your back. Absolutely. I know you do. I appreciate you. War Criminal 7 is one that Brandi and I go to the LBL with, and
Yeah.
he's a good guy. He's a very good guy. So let's see here. Paranormal Pixie says, I get so annoyed with people who use the term witch in a derogatory manner. I was
Mhm.
raised by one, and while I consider myself more spiritual guide now, I will always be part witch. Absolutely. I agree with you. Because, just the term witch people automatically think negative, and it's not that way. They do just hear, well, even like TV and books and movies, when you see a witch, it's you see like, the hag type witches,
Right,
and we
right,
think negative, and it's not like that. And
right. Well,
I believe,
remember Steve Stockton, whom we had on Friday, was talking about his grandmother, and
yeah,
his grandmother was what you would call nowadays a more or less kitchen witch. Now, let
yeah,
me tell you, if I'm caught in the middle of nowhere and I am sick or something has happened to me, I would have a kitchen witch on my side any day. They could go out there and pick stuff right up out of the ground that's going to help.
yeah,
They're going to help me right on the spot. They're not going to have to wait to go to the pharmacy or to
yeah,
the doctors. They're going to help me right then and there. And like I said, I'd rather have one of those with me any day. Any day.
yeah. Yep. Trish B says, I've lived in a haunted house. So many things happened, but when my son was thrown, I sought a priest. He declined helping, saying he wasn't trained for it. That was my motive for helping others. Absolutely. And that's why we do this too. Because I have heard of countless people who have called churches, and it's not just a Catholic church, it's a Baptist church or a Protestant, whatever religion they are. And they might come and do a blessing. They might come and do a blessing.
Might.
That's it. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Trish, because
that's the kind of the story. Like, we had Tim Miley on a couple weeks back. His story was still the same when he went into a house and things weren't right in his house, and he started in with asking, or calling people in the paranormal field, and they were asking him for money to do it. That's another thing we don't do.
Yeah,
we don't ask for money. We do this to help, and that's what it's all about. And that's why he got into the paranormal field, because there was nothing or nobody that would help him, call him back, or they asked for money. So yeah, I see that. I see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Jean says a good point here too. She says, well, most so-called witches are just herbalists, as they know how to heal with nature. Yeah, they do.
That's my girl, Jean. That's my girl, Jean. Yep. I'm telling you what, that is exactly it. I'd rather have one of them with me in the field any day. Any day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, I'm just trying to read through some comments here. It says, my charges have crystals and pendulums, sage, and they talk about witchcraft. I'm like, churches use incense and use oil and chant as well. It's all connected. Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yep. So Sheldon and Dawn says, I'm a herbalist. That's considered witchcraft. They would have to burn me at the stake. LOL. Yeah. And it's,
absolutely, Sheldon. Absolutely. And like I said, it's kind of like, these are things that are remedies so you can get away from the chemical components that they're putting in things today that may or may not be good for you. But an herbalist will know of all the natural things that can help you just the same way without putting all that yuck in your body.
Yep. And Al, he says that he doesn't charge either. We don't either. We have never charged for our services for a private case. And I can tell you, I have drove hours to help people out of my own pocket, and countless hotel rooms and but we do not charge people to help them. That's not what it's about for us.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. And Nana Boss, she says, I'm listening, ladies. You all are amazing. Well, you know what? We love you, Marty, and you're more than welcome to come on here anytime with us.
Anytime.
Yeah. And if anybody hasn't subbed to the Nana Boss, go do it. She's got great shows and great guests on her shows.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. Yeah. Really good things to say.
Yep, she does. She has a great show. So if you're not already a subscriber, go and subscribe to her. Let's see here. Who else? I am reading here. Penny says, alchemy was considered evil eons ago, but yet even royalty used them.
You're right. You're right. Now, I'm not saying that if you're sick, you should not go to the doctor. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is they're going to help me in a pinch, a split second, and before I can go to a store, pharmacist, doctor, they're going to help me a lot faster. So, yeah.
Terry says spells and incantations are all based on intention, just like prayer.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
Right. Exactly. Let's see here. I'm trying to scroll down here and see. She's Little Patty says, I love being a witch. My friends all know. They'll call me up to whip them up something for their ailments.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, I don't want to go to the doctor for this. This is stupid, you know?
Right.
You know, you have severe migraines or something. Well, you don't have to go to the doctors. I mean, there are other things out there that can help you just as well without putting, like I said, nasty chemicals in your body. You just,
It's true.
oh, goodness.
I wholeheartedly agree.
It's true.
Wholeheartedly agree. Yep. I am looking here, going through chats. Yeah.
I know there's so much talk. I love it.
Right? Says, yes, they do. And every culture has forms of shamans and healers over history. And other than incantations and ceremonies, they use plants and all things in nature. Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, we were talking about like Steve Stockton and my mother both were born with what's called a veil over their head when they're born. And it's really scary, freaky looking. But in a lot of Native American and different folklores, that this stuff is supposed to be very, very magical, and these people are supposed to be very, very special and gifted. So, I mean, it's just wow. It's just wow. So, I mean, you take that and with your shamans and all of this stuff, I mean, it's all there. It's all magic. It's all magic. I just say it. It's just magic.
Yeah. Let's see here. Terry also says a lot of herbal remedies will fix it. Pill prolongs it. Just my opinion for most cases. Yeah, because you know, a lot of these pills, it's man-made stuff. They're putting poisons in your body. You know, it's poison. Where you know, a lot of this is natural, and you know, here's my thing, and I don't want to really like get political or really go into talking about like marijuana. However, I believe marijuana has helped a lot of people. They help cancer patients. They help people. It helps people with anxiety and depression. And, you know, I personally don't smoke it, but I do not knock anybody that does it or you know, uses gummies or whatever for their
right. Just the CBD content, the THC itself relieves all the pain that cancer patients are feeling. It gives them pain relief without shooting them up with morphine or fentanyl or whatever else you're trying to give them. You know, it's like, here, just smoke this plant. You'll be fine.
Brandi, have you ever heard of anybody ODing from smoking pot? I personally have not.
Nope. I sure have not. I have not.
So, you know, I just, you know, I feel like that's a huge one out there that, you know, the drug companies, you know, don't want out there and legal because, you know, they'll lose a lot of money.
I had a friend who had cancer, and she would say, well, I'm gonna smoke a little. And I said, smoke yourself out, you know, whatever makes you feel better. Because she said when she takes the medications that the doctors have given her, it would make her feel loopy and where she couldn't function and or make her sleep all the time or actually give her mood swings. She goes, this stuff just makes me laugh and eat. She goes, that's all I want to do is laugh and eat, you know, because when she wouldn't smoke it, well, she didn't have, of course, an appetite, which she was terribly skinny. But she said she would eat like crazy when she would smoke. And I'm like, well, smoke yourself out. just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, now that they're making it legal in a lot of states and things like that, I'm hoping that we can actually make it easier. I mean, if we don't have a cure, let's make it easier on them at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like Terry says, marijuana cures a lot, but then big pharmas and doctors would lose billions, but then that's another show. She's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Probably one we'll get shut down for, so we won't go there.
Yeah. It's an 80s stereotype about marijuana being deadly, says CJ. Very, very true. You know, it's helped so many people. And I am, you know, and I'm not saying if I didn't have, you know, down the road, if I get some kind of terminal illness or something, that I won't start smoking it, you know?
Yeah. Because, you know, if you're sitting there in complete pain And like I said, you can't function as a human taking what doctors and pharmacies are giving you,
Yeah.
but you can function if you just smoke.
Yeah.
I'd rather smoke. I think
Right.
that would be good for me. I mean, it would just, if I'm
Mhm.
happy, I'm eating, well, I'm just living my life,
Jean brings up a good point here. She says, look at the chemicals in food, meds, and cleaning products. Lots of illnesses come from them because our body was not designed to remove them. So where do they go? What do they become? Good point.
That is yeah, because where do they go? How does your body get rid of something that is not natural?
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
I
And
mean,
all
does it
the
start killing things? I mean, does it start killing your organs in your body because it has nowhere to go?
right.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think that a lot of
Yeah.
this is, I don't know. I don't know. It's, yeah, a lot of the preservatives they put in foods and,
Yeah.
all
I
the
mean, look at the
processed
Twinkie.
food.
Look at the Twinkie. It's got like a 10-year lifespan on the shelf.
Well, I seen something where McDonald's French fries, somebody bought some and let them sit there and they never molded like after like a long time. They never even molded. What does that
Ah,
tell you? McDonald's French
that's right.
fries.
And I love McDonald's French fries.
I know, don't we all? Yeah.
Ah,
But it's kind of, what are they putting on them
I
potatoes?
know. I mean, but that goes back to the herbalist. I mean, this is all pure and natural stuff that we're getting right from where we live.
Yeah,
And I think I'd rather have that, honestly. Honestly.
me too. Me
But
too.
we're coming up almost on 2 hours here, Krista.
I know. I just looked too. I can't believe it.
We just come out here to talk for a little bit.
Yeah. Get our mouths
It sounds
running.
like our midnight talks on the back porch.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we should probably call it an afternoon, huh?
I would think so. I would think so.
People are probably getting bored of us. Yeah. Let's call it a day. We'll call it
I
a
don't
day,
know.
guys.
Maybe we'll have to do it again. We'll just call it BS with Krista and Brandi on a Sunday afternoon. It's like, what do we talk about?
It's just we've kind of touched on a little bit of everything, and that's I don't know, just kind of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Let's see what the next spring up topic could be.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Laura.
Paranormal Pixie.
We definitely appreciate it.
We do. Thank you.
Facebook user, I still can't see your name, but it says not on board. Would love to PM or talk to you, not on the phone. Message us. You can either email us at blondesandbooze@gmail.com, or you can message either Brandi or myself privately, and
Through
we're both
Facebook?
through our Facebook. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Yep, and we will get back to you. And thanks again, Paranormal Pixie. We definitely appreciate you. And anyway, and thanks, Al. Yes, thank you for coming on and telling us your story.
That was a great story.
Yeah, I
Sleeping
gotta
with
say,
ghosts.
ghosts don't scare me, but that would have freaked me out. So anyway, we thank each and every one of you. And tomorrow night, tune in for Texas Front Porch. I actually think Tex has to work tomorrow night, don't he?
Yes, he does. But I'll tell you what, I'm still going to be there. Braids and all. I'm still going to be there. We'll see who else comes on with me. It might be a surprise.
Yep.
I don't know.
So tune in tomorrow night to Texas Front Porch. And then this Thursday, who all do we have this week, Brandi? Do you remember?
We have on Friday, we have Dr. Rebecca Foster, and Thursday we have Brian Bowden.
Yep.
Don't we?
Absolutely. We do.
Okay.
You remember. It was just didn't make. Yep. We have. So anyway, we will see you guys this week. And we appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in and spending your Sunday with us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.